first one you watched?
I think I have watched another episode in the past.
Okay.
What episode did you watch?
The one I watched the other night was season 1 of episode 2.
How did you know what the episode was? Was it on TV or on
it was
Netflix?
on Stan.
Oh, you watched it on Stan. Oh, okay.
Why did you skip the first episode?
No, season
The
1 of
first
episode
season.
2.
Oh.
I heard that season 2 is better than season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1's only like 6 episodes.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Should we be having this discussion on the podcast?
It's recording right now.
Nice. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Cold open.
That is the best intro we have had yet.
It's observational comedy.
So hello everyone and welcome to the FilmBunker podcast. We're here to discuss TV and film, and I'm joined by Karen, Simon, and Matt. And we just learned that Simon has never seen an episode of Seinfeld the whole way through, and that's
true.
what we're discussing.
Yeah.
How have you not watched an episode of Seinfeld the whole way through?
I feel like I've never started one at the beginning, so I think I've watched a lot of them from the middle to the end, and they're quite enjoyable. But yeah, I don't know. I've never had the motivation to seek an episode of Seinfeld out.
It was never in my household either because my mum said that it felt like an in-joke that she wasn't a part of, so she didn't like it. So I never watched it when I was a kid. I only watched it recently-ish.
I did find the comedy does come off very obnoxious if you're not ready, like if you're not actively seeking it. I read an article the other day about a person who had never seen an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too. I didn't read the article, but I saw that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, the writer raises some valid points in that Homer is a very terrible character, and he's abusive to Marge, and Marge should really divorce him. But I guess if you don't sort of grow up when these things are giant hits, you do have to take the initiative yourself to go back and look at them if you want to, and if you sort of don't immediately get that zest for it, then maybe it sort of slips under your radar.
Yeah, so Seinfeld's my favorite TV show of all time.
I can understand.
Wow.
Like my mum loves Seinfeld, and that's probably where it comes from. So it's my favorite by far. I've been listening to Signcast, and I know I'm behind because it's actually finished now. But it's another podcast that they do a review of each episode. They've done all 180 episodes. It's really good. They go into a lot of in-depth stuff. Yeah,
Cool.
There's 9 seasons worth. Spawn. Spawn for a podcast that is finished.
Yeah, people are probably like, oh, we'll just check that out now. And then just turn us off and then
Go
go
back 180 episodes.
They sound like they know what they're doing over there at Signcast.
They really do. Well, yeah, Signcast lives off that Larry David humour though, which you can you can go find in Curb now.
That's
I have
true.
seen a few episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, so it's effectively the same thing, just slightly different.
And like great comedies, it all sort of gets amalgamated into future comedies as well. So you can kind of follow the breadcrumbs back, but you'll never feel something as innovative as when it first comes out.
Yeah, well, I didn't grow up.
Isn't that called the Seinfeld effect? I'm pretty sure
Possibly.
it is.
Is
Oh,
Because
well,
that, yeah.
I've heard of that.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Seinfeld,
That's
so I
just
can't talk about it.
that's just Jerry's pickup line when he goes to like steal people's wives, which he has been known to do.
Has he? I thought he's been married like pretty consistently for quite a while.
It might just be rumor, but I
Okay.
have heard that he was alleged to have an affair with a female Simpsons writer that was married to Jace Richards, I think.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
specific, so...
Yeah, must be true.
No, yeah, I've never heard
Jennifer
that.
Crittenden, I think her name was. But if it wasn't her, I'm sorry, Jennifer.
And Jerry.
And Jerry. It'd be a night. You can have sex with my wife, Jerry. It's fine.
I have a gripe about Seinfeld, though, in the sense that everyone says it's a show about nothing, but it isn't.
It's very much
all.
about something.
Yeah.
It's about life and as
It's
a
about how a
person.
comedian gets his jokes.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Jerry Seinfeld, but everyone says it's about nothing, but it all has like...
Because when it came out, it was very different to everything else.
That's
Everything had a very standard kind of storyline going.
Oh,
Even
Greg,
sitcoms.
why are we getting divorced again?
Yeah, exactly. Even sitcoms, whereas these guys just came in and complained about something that happened to them during the day, and that's the story.
I know, I guess it's just because every episode does have a narrative arc.
Yes.
And it is very much a, set up punchline situation. Like, Louis C.K. was more of a show about nothing. His show.
Yeah.
It was
I get that.
literal just
Oh, and
him
Curb.
wandering around.
And Louis would have taken that element of Seinfeld because you can tell from his show that it's very much based on Seinfeld. and he would have been like, I'll show you nothing.
Yeah. Like, things would go nowhere. He would just go to a doctor's appointment, but nothing would happen
There
with that.
is a joke about Louis C.K. showing nothing that I won't make.
Yep.
But I kind of did.
Yeah, you did. So,
But yeah, Curb is a show that's even more about nothing than Seinfeld is.
Yes,
yeah, it is. Definitely.
But I think that the show about nothing is very much a tagline that you can imagine an NBC executive sort of rubbing their hands together in a boardroom like, oh, this is how we'll promote it. Have you even watched it? Doesn't matter.
It also comes from that season 4, from the pilot, from that storyline that runs through season 4 of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
When they create their own version of Seinfeld within Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and the whole concept of their show within Seinfeld is a show about nothing.
That
So I
makes
feel
sense.
like it kind of came
It
from
branded
that.
itself in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would had already been called that before, but then they kind of more solidified it by doing that. By being like, yes, this is us. And then they make this show called Jerry that is just a parody of their own show that is horrible compared to the actual show.
Interesting.
And the first storyline is something that like would never happen and is so typical sitcom, where it's like he gets a butler because he had a car accident. So it's like
sure,
the judge,
Jerry, that's why
the
you
judge decrees him to be his butler because he can't pay for the insurance on the car accident. So like it's the antithesis of what Seinfeld itself is. You know, it's nothing like that.
It's a cute idea.
Extras did that as well. The Ricky Gervais show. They had like the whole second season was about Ricky Gervais doing The Office if BBC One got hold of it in the way that a lot of other shows went, and it was called When the Whistle Blows, and it had him like in a wig and glasses, and they did like catchphrase like, "Are you having a laugh?" And it's
like Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Yeah, it's exactly like Mrs. Brown's Boys, and it was like god awful, and
like
it just
if
shows
the
how
Americans
miserable
did
he
an
is.
Office. Whoops. What do we think of the American Office?
I don't mind it. I prefer it over the English one.
I don't, for what it, like, I quite like Greg Daniels as a show creator, and I think it's quite fun. I haven't really, like, dived into every single episode, but it's quite sharply written.
I don't mind what I've seen of it. I find I can watch extras, and I can watch Derek, another one he's done, but The Office, even like the UK Office, I just find too cringy. And the American one's more watchable in that way. But I can understand that the UK Office has a lot more to it. It was a lot more innovative.
Yeah.
But it's just really hard to
I
watch
get
for
that.
me.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I don't really like Derek. I didn't really enjoy that. Extras is only good for me when like there's a cameo.
Oh yeah, that's
And that's
the
when
main
it
part
reaches,
of it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's got Matt LeBlanc in it, doesn't it?
Is
Or am I
Matt
thinking of-
LeBlanc in an episode?
Who am I thinking of a different...
I
No,
think
you're thinking of
about episode.
that one.
episode,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm stuck on
No.
E. Let's get lost.
I do enjoy episodes.
It's like episodes, Entourage, and Extras are all the same show.
Yeah.
Gee, I think I watched all of Entourage as it came out, and it's still, you know, when the HBO thing happens, I always hear the Entourage theme songs.
Yeah,
somehow.
I can see that, yeah.
I do that with probably Game of Thrones more than anything.
I also want to
The
point out
Game of
that
Thrones
I hate Entourage.
It's not my favourite show. It rubs me the wrong way for some reason.
It's kind of retroactively because I watched it when I was a teenager, and I was just like, "That's probably what life is like." Sure.
I'd love to get that much action.
Linking back to Seinfeld, you know the guy in Entourage, I can't remember the character's name. He's bald and I think has glasses. I can't remember his name, but he plays George in that sitcom episode that they make in Seinfeld.
There's a bald guy in Entourage.
I think he's no, he has hair. No, sorry, yeah, he's bald in the Seinfeld episode. I can't remember what his name is. I'm forgetting right now, but
Jeremy
I'm
Piven?
gonna look it up. Is it? I think it might be.
Jeremy Piven plays the agent, the
I think
one
that's
that
him.
goes all very hot shotty and
I think that is
yelling
him.
at everyone, but he's got cool kind of swagger about him.
Yeah, it's Jeremy Piven.
Ah,
yeah,
Jeremy Piven.
He plays George in that episode of Seinfeld.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's an interesting choice. That's like John Hamm making fun of himself. I like it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That 30 Rock little thing where John Hamm plays the most handsome man who has no skills is just amazing.
I haven't seen that. Is that in the
great.
later seasons?
I think it's like season 3 or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I think I've seen more of the actual later seasons than the earlier ones. I think when I watched the earlier ones, I was kind of losing a bit of interest. So
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah, I saw more of the later ones just on TV and enjoyed them probably a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of Tracy Morgan, and it's a lot
Yeah,
about,
I agree.
about him
I
in those
agree.
first episodes. It's a lot of just about Tracy, and I'm just like, don't care.
Not one of my favourite comedic personalities. Dirty Rock in general. I don't have a problem. It's fine. It's very much... I like Baldwin has really taken that role, and he does it in insurance commercials. He does it walking down the street. He does it everywhere now.
He's the best character in the show for me.
He's
anyway.
great.
I love his character.
He's a very good performer. He's the most put together of the Baldwin brothers.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm not... I can be very fussy with my comedies and their sort of tone and that sort of stuff. It's very hard to get comedic tone quite right.
So what did you think of the comedic tone of Ant-Man and the Wasp? So we'll move on to that, because I think Matt and Karen and me saw it this week.
I liked it. It was fine. It sounds dismissive. But I mean it in a nice way. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was just a little, fun ride.
Yeah. You don't regret going to see it, but you're not it's not the greatest Marvel effort.
No.
It's not...
I had problems with the villains.
They weren't particularly
I liked
motivated, were they?
No, I liked that they were kind of not just straight evil and whatever. And when they had them tied up in that scene, how he lets him talk to his daughter, I liked that. But they didn't have much motivation going for them, did they?
And Ghost, she's very... it's very much I'm evil. Oh, okay. I think everyone's happy now.
Yeah.
It's very, very quickly resolved, any sort of drama there.
Yeah, it kind of flips on a dime.
See, I liked Lawrence Fishburne.
He was fantastic.
I thought he was great, and I liked his motivation, like the fact that he let him speak to his daughter, and he said to Ghost, "We're not touching the child," because you're expecting them to go for it, and then it's like, "Oh, Cassie's going to be embroiled again," and no, she wasn't. He put his foot down for that, and his motivations for doing everything made sense. And I felt like her motivations made sense. She was in a lot of pain. She was phasing in and out. That was all really interesting. I just feel like she wasn't such... They didn't try and give her so many kick the puppy moments in the, oh, I want to kidnap this child. Oh, I'm going to mess up everything. Oh, I'm going to be, just really angry and an idiot about everything. It just kind of didn't fit, because you're we need to... If you're going to have you sympathetic, we need to like you more.
I've also got to say her backstory was garbage. It was just one of those things of, we've got S.H.I.E.L.D. in this universe. She was from S.H.I.E.L.D. and they did bad things to her because S.H.I.E.L.D. was bad, and now she's angry.
It was more of a lab accident, and it wasn't anyone's fault.
Yeah,
it wasn't S.H.I.E.L.D. It was... The guy was fired and he tried to do it himself.
But her getting her skills came from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Your father's uncle's brother once fired me, and so now I'm getting revenge for something that kind of
that was
went
a bit
wrong.
weird with the whole, we hate you, Hank Pym, because you did this. And it was he didn't really. He fired your dad.
2 degrees of separation.
Yeah. It was just he's done worse things, I'm sure.
Big fan of the surname Pym. It sounds odd to say. Pym?
Yeah, it does.
I like Pym.
Hank Pym.
Pym. Sorry to any listeners, surname Pym.
It's not a superhero name. Oh no, because I guess because usually they alliterate, but then I realised Tony Stark doesn't.
No,
But
that's
It
a
has
DC.
a punchiness that you kind of expect from superhero names.
Yeah.
Hank Pym.
Hank Pym, it does.
It sounds like it sounds like if it was onomatopoeic, it sounds like a little droplet. Pym, Pym.
Well, he's Ant-Man, so he'd little Pym.
Wasn't she?
She was Wasp, yeah.
But she's the Pym.
She's the Pym. But Hank was
Not the
original Ant-Man.
Pym. The Pym.
The Pym.
I'm so lost.
Now, I haven't seen the film, so I have a question. I don't really care to see the film because I saw Civil War, and that's kind of as much Ant-Man as I really want in my life.
Paul Rudd's great, though.
Yeah, I like him as well, but I don't care.
It's hard to care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, how does it deal with the whole Infinity War thing?
Well.
So should we put a little spoilers thing here just in case?
Yes.
Well.
For Ant-Man more so.
Yeah, just really for Ant-Man. At this point, if you don't know what happens in Infinity War,
You've made bad choices.
Yes, you literally, yeah. So it doesn't deal with it in the film at all. The film is obviously set beforehand, and it doesn't deal with it at all.
Which I was expecting.
I was expecting the end. My prediction for it was at the end, he's going to be at home with his daughter, everything's fine,
And then his daughter,
yeah.
Oh man,
and his daughter goes away. Exactly. That's what I expected.
Imagine, no, you can expect it. Tony Stark knew it was coming with Peter Parker because they're involved in the plot. Imagine you're just sitting at home and your daughter just starts.
I think they made a good choice in Infinity War not to like pan to an orphanage and just.
No.
Oh God, if you're real, dude, prove it. Oh no, come back.
I guess I read it somewhere on the internet that, this is obviously how it's going to happen. And I went, it makes sense because then we'll give Scott like a motivation to join up in part 2. So that's all fine. But then what they actually did was in the mid-credit scene. So if you don't watch those things, you wouldn't have got a link. In the mid-credit scene, he's going into the quantum realm to grab some Healy kind of energy things for the ex-villain of this film. And he's in there, and Hank, Janet, who is Hank's wife, because you haven't seen the movie, you wouldn't know that, and the new Wasp, Hope, yeah, they're all stood there, just kind of doing the doodads and going, we'll call you back in, Scott. And then they just all turn to dust and he's stuck there.
Oh, okay.
So, and the thing that annoyed me about that is, okay, we've got another obstacle because you're going to be in the quantum realm and they'll have to work out how to get you out of it because you're going to be in the next one.
I think he'll just get out of it pretty quickly. I don't think that's even going to be a thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, why have him stuck in there in the first place?
Is he going to be in the next
Yes.
Avengers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That is, I'm just kind of puzzled about like why they did Infinity War and then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I think it's just because of how it ended up being slated.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think more
Just
than
production
anything.
reasons,
Yeah.
And then he's going to come into the next one.
It was done very effectively. I like that because there was actually a few gasps in the viewing audience I was seeing.
Yeah, because I didn't expect all three of them to
No.
disappear. I thought maybe just like Hank and Janet would, because I was really hoping that Hope would get a bigger part in Infinity War, but she disappeared as well because I really enjoyed her in this.
Yeah.
I thought she was the best part.
Yeah, you don't actually see them disappear. It's just it's from his perspective. He's sort of calling back to them, and he's like, "Hello, hello," and then you just see the black dusty.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that was pretty good. That was well done. Yeah, I was a bit gutted that she went poof. But
Yeah, I like the way in the actual Ant-Man and Wasp film that she saves his life a lot, and there's a lot of women saving male characters, and vice versa. It's not very. It doesn't go sort of traditional with like Ant-Man's the hero, he's going to save everybody and all that sort of stuff. He has his hero moments, but
yeah,
it's even.
it's pretty even.
Yeah, it's pretty even.
And I like
It's
that
nice.
as well because they weren't trying to ham-fist you with, look, we finally gave you a female superhero and she's great. Instead, she was just awesome.
Yeah, she
And
owned it, and
I was like, yeah, I really like her. She's really cool.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I was a bit disappointed about because, you have Black Widow in Avengers, but
She's useless.
and Scarlett Johansson is awful.
she's
Just
fine.
as a person, as an actress, she's great.
No, I don't. Yeah, I feel like she's.
She's come under fire for the new trans role she's doing.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw that.
So that's what I'm referencing.
Her response to
Isn't it?
that.
Yeah.
Well, her team's response. I'm not going to agree or disagree really with what they said because I understand that, there is a production type for producers and things that is more marketable to have a name on there and they've done it before and that's fine. But the fact that she was just like, but just blame the other guys that did it.
Yeah. One of whom recently has had a whole issue with like abusing trans people on the set.
Yeah.
Which is like, ugh.
I was just like, hun, don't do that. Just like put together a better response, I guess, or something like that. I don't think she's awful. I just don't think she handled it well.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I could, in regards to Hope disappear, it really seems like they're going for the original core Avengers. So, and Ant-Man, I guess, at least in the comics, was an original Avenger.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to sort of put them all together and, they've gotten rid of Black Panther. I mean, he would have been cool to have back as well.
Because they didn't realize that Black Panther was going to do so well. I think the Russos basically said that.
Oh, wow.
That they didn't realize it was going to do so well, so they had it already, planned, obviously.
And they just like gone and re-edited that last couple seconds.
But then they'd have to
He's just lying there.
Because they did,
Yeah.
they did
CGI 's
both
like
like
a longer
concurrent.
shot.
They did both movies like concurrently, pretty much.
Okay.
So then they would have had to reshoot things for the second one.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have worked.
No, I find that like the original Avengers being the ones left to it is fine, and I feel like there will be a time travel element to it. So I feel like there will be like the people that are lost and turned to dust. I don't think that they are going to be completely lost for the entirety of the movie, and then
No.
at the end show up and be like, "We're fine." I feel like
They're going to be in it.
they're going to be in it, and I like the original Avengers being the ones to stick around because it is kind of like a last hurrah up for them. So I'm all good
Yeah,
with that,
that's
really.
true.
And then you get the intro of Captain Marvel, which
Yeah.
will be out before the next one anyway.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's gonna like tie in pretty heavily with what happened.
Yeah.
It's
set in the
set in the
90s.
90s. Yeah, so I think it'll just be a after credit scene to tie it together.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it does more with that than Bumblebee's going to do with the 80s.
With the 80s, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Captain Marvel a lot. I really am.
So am I, because I haven't seen really anything about it except it's set in the 90s and it's Captain Marvel, so it'll be completely unexpected.
Yeah.
for
I
me.
hope it's like the Superman movie that DC can't do.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah. Except they will have her more than likely going to space and being in space.
okay.
Because she's going to get Kree, because her powers come from the Kree. So I assume they'll introduce the Kree, because I don't think they've been introduced yet.
No, they have. Well,
Have they?
Ronan.
Oh, yeah, they have, yeah.
And
Sorry.
Ronan's going to be in it.
Forgot about that. Yeah, Ronan the Accuser will be in it, which I'm
So-
really glad.
Yeah.
Because he's a good villain in the comics.
Now, since I don't know a whole lot about the Marvel comics, Ronan the Accuser is the guy from Guardians of the
Yeah.
Galaxy
Yes.
who
Yeah.
Star-Lord does a dance-off with.
Yes. Lee
Got it.
Pace. Him.
Cool.
Yeah. So he's going to be back for it, which is good.
Cool.
Because he's a good character in the comics. He becomes sort of like, not really an anti-hero, but kind of a bit more sympathetic in the comics. He's not as just like, I'm a terrorist, as he is as he is in Guardians.
Because terrorists always announce themselves as terrorists.
He basically was.
I suppose if you're going to at least be honest about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to use terror to achieve my means.
Just on his job application to
That's-
Thanos, like, I will use terror to.
It sounds like a Twitter, like a
Yeah.
tweet from Scarlett Johansson. I'm going to use terror to achieve my needs. So,
Oh god. No, I feel like it will, like, Captain Marvel I'm keen for. I'm of course keen for part 2 of Infinity War, and I'm also keen to see what they do after Infinity War, because that's what we're all kind of.
that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2.
I
Mainly.
think Spider-Man's one of the first ones to come out
Yeah.
after it.
Spider-Man, whatever it's called.
Far From Home.
Far From Home, that's it. Homecoming and I just got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. But
They should
that's
do-
going to be good, because Mysterio.
Yes, Mysterio is going to be the villain, which
That
I'm
will be-
super keen
Yes.
for.
That
I'm
would be
very
very,
keen.
yeah. I think that they can do a lot with that wouldn't have been possible, say, even 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is, do they know who's cast as
I
Mysterio?
can't remember who it is. I think they've said that there was a famous actor. I can't remember what his name is.
Why don't you
So-
look it up while we...
Yeah.
You know who would be a good
But I'm not
Mysterio?
sure if it's definite. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
the...
It could be one of
rumors
those
going-
rumors, like,
Yeah.
Donald Glover's going to be all the Spider-Man in...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be, Mads Mikkelsen would be a good...
He'd be a good lot of things, I think.
yeah, that's true. He'd be a good Spider-Man.
But I
he
mean-
could play like a...
But he was
I
already,
don't
already
really
in
get
Doctor
it.
Strange, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was Doctor Strange's villain.
Yeah. He was the main
bad
guy.
That's right. I remember Doctor Strange. I just didn't remember.
Jake Gyllenhaal is reportedly in talks to play Mysterio.
That's interesting.
That's very
That's kind of
interesting.
lame. I don't like him at all. I just want to say that.
I don't mind Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He's alright.
I just think he's lame. I don't know.
I mean, Mysterio has a big fishbowl on his head, so you won't see his face the whole time.
okay.
We've gotten Jake Gyllenhaal in a larging fishbowl. His face is just two giant Jake Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
eyes. It's
I
hard
don't
to-
think I've seen Jake Gyllenhaal in anything that isn't like a sappy rom-com, so I can't really...
There was the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he was in Zodiac. I
Have
saw
you
that
s-
ages
Have you
ago.
seen is it Nightcrawler? The one where he's
No.
that's I've heard good things about that. I haven't actually watched it. I'll go to watch it and I was like, oh, not yet. I'll save that for a rainy day. But he plays a sort of a journalist who may have more to do with the seedy underground than you first think, and his performance is allegedly really creepy. So if he takes those elements and applies them to Mysterio, he could be genuinely creepy.
He was in Southpaw, and he was also in Donnie Darko.
Donnie Darko,
Donnie Darko,
that's
yeah.
He was Donnie Darko.
I keep forgetting
that's
he was
right.
Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, that movie I just don't like thinking about much.
Yeah,
No, because of the giant. Maybe he has a giant rabbit head in Spider-Man.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just Donnie Darko.
Oh, he was in The
Like-
Day After Tomorrow. That's right.
Yeah, never saw that.
Oh, I did see that. That's part of why I don't like him, I think.
See, he's Brokeback Mountain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get it. Don't like it. Too...
You hate gay people.
No. I just I watched it with a gay friend.
All right, Scarlett Johansson.
The gay friend was sat there going, "This is so sweet," and kind of tearing up over it. But it's the same thing like The Notebook. It just was like that to me.
Yeah.
It was like a gay Nicholas Sparks thing, and I was like, I
think
just
you just don't
get
like
it.
it because it's just too sappy.
It's just too
yeah,
sappy.
I don't know if it will have aged well because when it first came out, that was on the sort of the last wave of kids calling each other gay as an insult and that sort of thing.
Sorry, that was the last wave?
I'm pretty sure it was.
It's still,
I don't play
it's
video
still going
games,
on
okay.
now, so...
But it was that we've come a long way in the last 13 years since it came out. So at the time, I imagine it was more cutting edge.
Maybe, yeah. It was... I guess it's because I was living in Will and Grace at that point with, having a big flatmate and watching all these... And I watched a lot of kind of LGBT films because...
But were any of them cowboys?
But none of them were cowboys. And I don't know, I tried watching it and it was just too sappy for me. And the music just became a meme to me because that music became a meme and I just couldn't take it seriously.
It's not a subtle movie. It's very much like a... I don't know why I have this visual in my head, but it's very much an oar smacking you in the face with love these gay cowboys.
No, I just, I couldn't get into it. But it's the same feelings I had with The Notebook. Everyone's saying it's so beautiful, and I'm just bored.
That's a bit wank because it very much, it's not a realistic portrayal of Alzheimer's, and it doesn't romanticize the disease so much as it's very much manipulating it to manufacture this wrought emotion that doesn't.
Well, that's all
deserve-
Nicholas Sparks things. They all
But
just kind of...
That's why he's a bit wank.
Yeah. But that's it. It's like all those kind of... Because I watched a few of the movies based on his books, and they were all the same. They were all, you need to feel sad here.
Yes.
You need to feel basically they were cue cards.
My
for you
puppy's
to go,
dead.
"Aw." Yeah. It was... And it just kind of... There was no real conflict in them.
No.
The conflict always felt like, I didn't tell you about this thing and it's a misunderstanding that's just going to come to... But you never felt like you cared.
Yeah, it's that old trope of if you were actually honest and communicated with each other, you wouldn't have an issue.
Exactly,
If you were,
yeah.
proper mature adults, you wouldn't be fighting right now.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I saw Darren talking to Charlotte. And then it's like, oh, that's my cousin. Oh, okay.
And I am in the mindset that rom-coms can actually be... I feel
Funny?
like... Well, not only funny, I feel like they can be great. I feel like it's kind of seen as, that's a genre that no cool person's into. But things like Clueless or...
Clueless is great.
Yeah.
I like Clueless.
Things like Four Weddings
Clueless
even.
more of just a comedy, though.
No, it's a rom-com. Really. It's like a... And even Four Weddings, Notting Hill, those kind of movies are nice. And there is this overwhelming charmingness to them that is really hard to get across and really hard to get right.
If you make it too heavy-handed, it can get a bit
Yeah.
gross. And Nicholas Sparks' name just sounds like he's created it as a pen name to be let the sparks fly. It sounds very, oh yeah, my name's Jonathan Love and I write these romance novels.
Yeah. They're
Timmy
real...
Shacks.
They are real Mills and Boone kind of novels that just happen to get into the popular fiction section by accident, I think.
Yeah, they're very... There's no subtlety to them. There's no real... Yeah, you said there's no real conflict. That's true. There's no drama. There's drama, but it's not authentic.
Yeah, it's not authentic drama. Yeah, it's not earned. It's not drama that comes from the moments where you see someone's heartbreak and you see in a romance or whatever, And there may be a misunderstanding. Like, I know in Pride and Prejudice and Sensibility, which are like the OG rom-com type things, there are those misunderstandings, but there's more emotion to them. There's just, you have to earn them. And
they come from, like, legitimate class struggle. And
exactly.
And that sort of thing, as opposed to, like, I don't want to talk about it right now until the third act.
Yes. Or I'm marrying him even though I don't love him because... Why?
Money.
Yeah, it's not really...
It's not a thing anymore.
You're not in the Regency era. You don't have to do this right now. But yeah, I find them just a bit hollow, I guess, and can't get into them.
There's very much a, about them.
Good sum up, I think.
Speaking of just, we saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and that was pretty much my takeaway from it.
Yeah.
What was yours?
I'm down for the dinosaurs, and everyone, they knew where they were at, where it was, people don't want to align with the humans, they want to align with the dinosaurs. They want to see dinosaurs kill people, they want to see the dinosaurs do different things. So I really liked how they kind of knew that going into this movie, and they were like, everyone's going to just be with the dinosaurs, so let's have them, loads of moments where they win and then sad moments where they don't, and that's where the emotion came from. But the rest of it was ridiculous. Like, there was an auction in a manor home where dinosaurs were going down a runway in cages and they were being bid on, and the bids for dinosaurs were less than footballers were getting paid. Like, it's like, oh yes, it's $10 million, and it's like, it's a dinosaur. They're the last ones left, and you pay...
So I get that, or a Bengal tiger for my exhibit.
It was just, and like...
They might start out cute, but they will grow up.
There were arms dealers that were buying these dinosaurs.
Yes.
It's that old fantasy of riding a T-Rex as you're shooting a shotgun.
Well, this is the thing, right? So they created this dinosaur, which was part Velociraptor, part it was a hybrid one.
Yeah, I've heard that one.
And they created this new one from the last one.
Indoraptor.
The Endoraptor. Indo. Yeah.
Endoraptor sounds like a really bad thing you don't want to happen to your colon.
But anyway, they created this dinosaur and they were like, we're going to use it because you can put a laser target on someone and it will target that one person. It can be trained to kill this one specific person. And it's going to be a new revolutionary thing for warfare. And I'm thinking, like...
And it's fucking useless.
We have sniper rifles. They're far more efficient than a dinosaur. You can see a dinosaur coming from a mile away.
You don't need to feed a sniper rifle.
You also don't need to be standing, like, right next to the person with a laser pointed at them.
Yeah. What are you doing? Why you walked over to me? You'll see.
And the villain in this film was so, like, he literally is the cackling kind of, I am driven by money and power, and I am evil. Like,
hashtag capitalism.
It starts off with him like, I'm a nice guy, and I'm gonna take it to the island so you can save the dinosaurs. And then he turns on a dime, and is like, no, I'm evil now. And he was like full, just not redemptive at all. Just like, I'm doing everything for my own ends, and all I care about is money. Which was...
I care less about that part of it. I care more about the part that it just felt a bit hollow. It was a fun movie, but it felt hollow. There wasn't anything in it to get behind, I thought.
It's really, like, it seems really simple. Dinosaurs eat people, and it seems like the perfect formula. But when you're onto, I think this is the 5th movie now.
Yes.
Yep.
It's hard to just do that all the time.
Well, they didn't really.
No.
They did, like, there was eating of people in the very beginning, and kind of near the climax they ate some people, but the eating people thing wasn't really in it that much. It was a lot about, we want to save these dinosaurs. That was the whole plot of it. And the ending was just so ridiculous that it actually became a bit fun for me then. Because I was like, okay, this is going into real...
So do you guys care about the spoilers?
I do not care at all.
Okay, so it ends with... the whole thing moves through going to the island, saving dinosaurs, finding out the person's an arm dealer, taking the dinosaurs back to normal, area in California. They have the auction in the mansion. They let the dinosaurs loose, and it ends with the dinosaurs just loose in the world. And it ends on these shots that... I listened to an interview with the director that they thought were really, evocative of the dinosaurs being loose in the whole world. And to me, they were just mostly cheesy. So you get a shot of I can't remember the dinosaur's name, the big water one. He's like on a wave while there's surfers going down. Oh, okay. And the next one, which I really hate, which I feel like
this is still been done on Photoshop. Dragged across the screen. Please tell me there's like a raptor on like a Ferris wheel.
No. So the next one is a T-Rex breaking into a zoo and roaring at the same time as a lion is roaring at him. And they talked about this in this interview about these two apex predators facing off, and it's like, and to me it's just like, it's so cheesy.
My money is on the T-Rex. I'm just gonna say.
I know, but the worst part about this ending that made it so ridiculous to the point where I actually laughed at it and found it quite fun ridiculous was that, alright, so throughout the entire kind of film, when they're at the manor house and there's this arms dealer and it's this rich family that have something to do with the rest of them that I don't remember, they were talking about, like, there was this little girl there who was meant to be like this old man's granddaughter, the kind of patriarch of the whole thing. That old man dies, so this granddaughter is there, and it turns out the granddaughter isn't a granddaughter, she's a clone of his daughter who died. So it was like, shock horror, she's a clone, just like the dinos. And then the main two characters kind of just adopt her on the spot, and they're like, come with us. And then
adoption is so easy in film.
But then right at the end, they're in a car, the three of them, because they've adopted her now. They've just taken her. And
I mean, she is a clone that no one knows exists.
But at the same time, they just kind of took her, and they're in this car, and then like...
And she had no one to look after her by that point. Just to clarify, they didn't just steal this child.
But what a great thing for a grandfather to do. Like,
He's
depart
dead.
on his bed. No, on his deathbed, he's just like... You're a clone.
But then, right, so they're all in this car, and they're going around this beautiful, like, landscape, and pterodactyls, like, flying in the sky above them, and, like, one of them just says, it's now Jurassic World. And it's like,
Thank you, end of the second Jurassic World movie.
That's why they call it Jurassic World.
Now I know. That's like the end. I thought Jurassic Park 3 ended with like a pterodactyl getting loose.
100%. That's how it ended.
Like,
But it was just one pterodactyl.
They can't reproduce. It's like, they should have had like dinosaurs go into Parliament. Nigel Farage has been replaced as the leader of UKIP.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say just like have a scene of Parliament and then a T-Rex just...
that would work.
That
you
would
could
be
also
great.
have them like one in like a little wig, and like the British wig is like, what do you think about immigrants?
There are actually two genuinely good scenes in it, though. One...
Do they involve Bryce Dallas Howard?
No.
Oh.
Okay, no, I've got something before you say that. You know the whole complaint about the first one about Bryce Dallas Howard being in heels the whole time. All right, this one opens with a shot of her in heels, of her feet in heels, and then pans up in an elevator.
I like
and
that.
And then when they get to it was great. And then when they get to the island, it opens with a shot of her in boots.
And she like punches someone. It's like, do you get it now?
Yeah.
There was two genuinely like emotive scenes in there. One was when they're in the manor house and the Indoraptor is kind of like stalking through this little girl's bedroom and is kind
opens the door.
It
flips
and
from being upside down.
Kisses her goodnight.
But the thing is, that was like really kind of cool, and it had like a horror movie element to it, and it was actually like a really cool scene. And the other one was like when they're leaving the island and this volcano erupts, and you see like this
the ash cloud coming to the edge.
The ash cloud coming to the edge, and you see this Brontosaurus.
Brachiosaurus.
I don't know why I said Brontosaurus. Brachiosaurus, just like kind of screeching, kind of like the as you just they're going away on a ferry, and it's like all sad.
No.
Yeah, it's like, and like I actually genuinely got a little bit of a lump in my throat, like, but the dinos.
So in the interview, the director said they did that because that's the first dinosaur you see in the first one. So it closes out the island, closes out Isla Nublar by seeing it kind of going up to the edge, with them going away and the cloud kind of engulfing it, and then that's when they use John Williams' Jurassic Park thing.
Right.
So
That's nice.
it wasn't it was quite emotional.
Oh,
It was,
yeah.
it was actually
It
a
was.
really nice scene.
It's
and super sad.
It is hard to wring emotion out of the movies now. Like, you're never going to get that moment of awe when Sam Neill sees the Brachiosaurus for the first time. Or it's also hard to get that horror element with it now too. Because you know the dinosaurs eat people. Like, but that's what I really liked about the first film was the dark, rainy atmosphere of it and that sort of thing.
Especially because they've made it all about like genetics, and this one
Yeah.
was more about genetics and splicing, and it was another new dinosaur. And I must say, the new one is definitely a lot better than the one in the first Jurassic World, where it just looked like a derpy giant raptor. This one actually is scary.
Yeah.
It's like got these razor sharp teeth, these long, like really long sharp claws. It's like jet black. It actually looks scary compared to that stupid derpy giant raptor thing.
The thing
It
is,
can't
like,
balance and falls over.
keep-
Can't get up.
they keep wheeling out the T-Rex in a meme sense now as well, which, like, the thing is, I really like the last Jurassic World at the end where they're like, okay, we're gonna get her out, and they get out the original T-Rex and try and get her to fight the other one, and it was like B-movie cheesy, but it was what you wanted to see. Like, they left the T-Rex till the end. They were like, this is the main event, this is the thing that, like, the original, this is like cool, the original against the new one. And then in this one, they kind of show the T-Rex up front, and like they use it as a Deus Ex Machina kind of meme thing, like, and then the T-Rex eats him.
Yeah.
Ah! And it's like,
Yeah.
it takes away the like gravitas, I think, of the T-Rex that was the first one that we were scared of.
This goes back to my days as a child. There was a game on Super Nintendo based on Jurassic Park, well, called Jurassic Park, I think. And you just play. I was awful at it. It was just like over the head kind of. You walk around, get different guns, and you try to gas the dinosaurs. And raptors would come out and try to eat you, but occasionally a T-Rex would just come out, and that was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, that's literally how it is in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like T-Rex pops out, eats someone. It's the end of that then, and it just it was so cheap, really, when it came to it. So, but otherwise, like, it was meh. It's fine.
Yeah. In the end, it was just kind of like a fun movie, but a bit shallow.
I can't wait for Jurassic Universe. That is
Just-
good.
Dinosaurs in space.
Do you know if they're making more films?
Yes,
Yeah.
there is one more.
Okay. And it's just going to be
Jurassic
dinosaurs in the world.
World.
So
yeah.
the guy who wrote the first one and I think directed the first one as well, he is doing the third one. So he wrote this one. He wrote Fallen Kingdom. So I think he's writing all three, but he didn't direct Fallen Kingdom. But he's getting to direct and write the third one.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's this guy particular. I can't remember his name. Sorry, but it's his particular kind of vision for these three movies.
Dinosaurs.
Sure. Here's my pitch for the next Jurassic Park movie. So they keep doing the genetic modification, but the dude who's doing it sucks. And so it's like body horror mixed with dinosaurs.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like they just got like tentacles and shit. Someone put octopus DNA in there. They didn't know what they were doing.
And they're super intelligent.
Yeah.
And they hate humans because they
made
created
the monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a great B movie sort of.
Oh no, a movie. No. I'm being serious with this.
It kind of sounds like a sort of.
It's just Jurassic Park, but the geneticists suck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go into this week's bunker battle, and the bunker battle is where we just look at two pieces of screen media and decide which should be preserved in the bunker for all time when the world is destroyed. And Karen's here, so she's going to give the two that we will be debating.
Okay, well, since we've talked about Marvel and Jurassic Park today, I'm going to go with two franchises. And the franchise is going to be either The Lord of the Rings, which has to include the Hobbit movies as well,
Okay.
or Harry Potter movies, not books.
I've got my choice.
Does anyone have any discussion? Or are they pretty set on what they're going to choose?
I'm pretty set on mine.
I know it.
I think compared to a lot of people, I'm really ambivalent about both of these series.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I love both, so but I'm pretty sure I know what I would choose.
I don't want to, mate. I'm willing to be persuaded, but I'm going to go with Harry Potter.
Okay.
Because reading the books, the films were what I imagined. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that J.K. Rowling knew exactly what she was going to do and how much money she was going to make at a certain point, but the way she describes the characters seemed to fit British actors pretty perfectly. So I think it's a very, if not, it's a very happy coincidence that everyone's so perfect in those films. Actually, well, the children aren't the best actors at the start, but they grow over time. And now I'll very happily watch anything they're in. They're fun, they're adventurous, they're not 4 hours.
Yep. With you there.
Well, if you add all 8 of them up, I think they would make up more than The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but they're in they're in better chunks because they're all like separate films.
So I'm gonna go with Lord of the Rings, just because in general I think I love Harry Potter, and if we're not talking about books, take out the books, probably go with Lord of the Rings, because with Harry Potter the first movie is better in my opinion actually than the book. After that, the books are much better than the movies in my opinion anyway. I enjoy them. I thought the end's not that great, but
I don't think the ending of the book's that great, to be honest.
Oh, it is pretty anticlimactic, but I don't know if it was any better in the film. Really.
Can we discuss Harry Potter spoilers?
Yeah,
of course.
It's been years. It's been fine.
Yeah, we just spoil Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's like, can we discuss Harry Potter?
Yeah.
There's this... Okay, so Lupin and Tonks make Harry Potter the legal guardian of their child, and then they both die.
No, they don't.
Don't they?
No, he lives with his uncle or auntie or something.
Yeah.
Teddy. He's just his godfather.
Oh, sorry. I thought I was going to raise a really great point then, because I wanted to see that child's struggles, and Harry's struggling to raise a child and that sort of stuff. That would have been interesting.
Well, he has his own children anyway.
Eventually.
A slight detour though, like Cursed Child tried to show Harry's struggles with raising his own child, and no.
Guys, I have something amazing to say.
What?
Yes.
This is fucking ridiculous. So based on what you said, I looked at what the total runtime of the Harry Potter trilogy is, and it's 19 hours and 39 minutes. Do you want to guess what the total runtime of all of the Lord of the Rings films
Okay, if you include The Hobbit?
and The Hobbit films?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's going to be longer than that, I presume.
26 hours.
It's 19 hours and 39 minutes. It's the same fucking time.
Oh, wow.
To the minute.
Really? Was it 2 that...
I'm not kidding.
Oh, that's
Jesus
great.
Christ.
That is, I did well
That's
choosing
fucking
these
scary.
two.
That is.
Yeah, I did well. But no, I'm definitely going Harry Potter. Just hands down.
That doesn't surprise me.
And not only because, like, only recently have I started to try and actively watch Lord of the Rings since I was a child and didn't really get half of it, but because it just was so influential to me when I was a kid, and it was a world that I wanted to stay in for as long as possible. And I liked all the characters, and I cared about so many of them. It's really difficult for me. Like, if someone says, who's your favourite Harry Potter character? I'm like, Lupin, but then also Minerva, but then also Snape, and, like, I have...
Dean Thomas.
Yes, Seamus. Seamus was... But, like, with Lord of the Rings, it's like Aragorn and Shadowfax. Like, that's it.
You love that horse.
I love that horse. But no, like, with the Harry Potter series, there's, you know, small moments in there. Even in the movies, like, not counting the books, the kind of small moments in there of the character work and the world that they're in, and just seeing Hogwarts and seeing how them go to classes, and it just sent my imagination wild.
There
and
is a lot more humanity. And would you say that it's got more, like the Harry Potter franchise has more sort of, you want to live in that world, whereas you wouldn't want to live in Middle Earth.
Nah.
No, you
The
wouldn't.
Harry Potter world, to me, is not something that appealing, because it's just our world. It is literally just our world with a tiny little tacked-on castle. It's not that much more. Lord of the
No.
Rings is a world.
There are also wizards and witches in Russia and other places.
Yes, and also there are fantastic beasts.
But you don't see any of this.
You do in
Also, you didn't say that you were including Fantastic Beasts, so that is
That's true.
not
That fucks up
included.
the runtime.
Oh,
You can't do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
no.
yeah,
I'm not
okay.
right.
So-
Fantastic Beasts isn't established enough.
For me, I prefer Lord of the Rings, probably just cinematography-wise and just the scale of how they did those films. Just being able to film 3 extremely long films all at once with
Yeah.
with beautiful cinematography, beautiful sets. That's why I think I choose it.
I feel like Harry Potter doesn't get enough credit for its cinematography
Agreed.
and direction. Like, its direction is so, especially in the first one and even the third, like the third's direction is great as well.
It creates its own sort of, it's a seamless world, and that, you know, the Gothic architecture is quite alluring.
Yeah, but it's not real, like, dark, stormy gothic. It's kind of like, it's rich, and even though it is just a castle that we really see in a couple of towns, I find that the kind of universe they're in is so rich that you can just, I always, like I said, imagine myself going to the classes and what it would be like, and what subjects would you choose, and where, those kind of things really flesh things out for me.
And McGonagall is a badass.
McGonagall is, like, the queen. I love,
See, Harry Potter's world, like I was saying, I always found it, just world building wise, it's a good world, but it doesn't have that much to it. It's just there's witches and wizards, and they have their own little few secret places, and that's it. Like Lord of the Rings, you get a whole world with different races.
That's true. Tolkien is a goddamn genius.
Exactly. Yeah. He built languages. Like he fleshed out an entire world through 5 books plus everything else that's added onto it.
And I'm not saying that isn't genius or that isn't brilliant. It definitely is.
It's just boring. Sorry.
I just find that with the Harry Potter films, I find that with Lord of the Rings, it's really difficult to... It seems like a man telling tales and spinning a story and telling fantastical tales, and, they're interesting and kind of mythological in a sense. Whereas Harry Potter is so human. Like, the characters are human.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you're going to talk about what world, I'd rather choose something that's different and a bit more, otherworldly.
Is this your way of telling us you're a wizard, Nick?
Yeah.
You say, this world's not that great. It's just got a few special places, that's all.
I went to Hogwarts and we had to do homework, and we didn't have Wi-Fi, and it was pretty crap.
I wonder if Hogwarts would have Wi-Fi.
Well, Harry Potter was set in the 90s.
Yes.
So
there was no Wi-Fi.
There wasn't Wi-Fi then.
But
and it would have just gone... Now it would have Wi-Fi, I think.
Imagine who would install it. That would be...
No, it really
blindfolded.
Cursed Child didn't have Wi-Fi.
Cursed Child didn't have a plot that made much sense, really. No, I find that they would have Wi-Fi, I think. Especially if, McGonagall's the principal, right? Yeah.
I think it is.
McGonagall, she'll be down for Wi-Fi. She'd want to watch football. Stream it live.
Is there a magic substitute to Wi-Fi? Can you just make a screen appear that will show you a game? Or do you try?
But imagine that, school-wide
they
blocks.
actually have to go to places to watch Quidditch.
That's a bit lame.
Yeah, see?
The magic is very inconsistent.
It's super inconsistent.
Harry Potter's got... I know this is an old trick, but I always used to think this as a kid, is why doesn't he fix his eyesight? He's got...
Yeah, exactly. Powers. You would think they could do that.
Oh, your
Maybe
arms...
he didn't want to.
Your arms
Maybe
broken.
he did, and he was just wearing empty frames.
Yeah,
it's his way
Harry.
of just picking up chicks. Isn't it?
Yeah, he was just I'm iconic. The round glasses and the lightning
Could
scarf.
heal this in a second.
Yeah, no, I feel it's got its charm to it with the inconsistencies and the, be them using quills when they could have just used ballpoint pens. They just decided that magic quills were the way to go. Things like that, though.
It's an aesthetic touch that, imagine, you're writing with a ballpoint pen, they're just, hipster.
Yeah.
Anyway, I decided about 10 minutes ago that I'm going to go with Harry Potter.
Yay!
Just because for all of, the films involved in these series, Harry Potter doesn't have, the Hobbit trilogy in it. And so it wins. That's
cool.
it.
Yeah, Harry Potter wins.
Fine. I still like Harry Potter.
Yeah, you're all right at the end of this. You're not... Yeah. Ben's not here to get angry over something.
Which would Ben choose?
Lord of the Rings, probably. I think he's probably going to say no to me. No, he would choose Lord of the Rings, I think.
I feel like he would, because I don't think he's a big Harry Potter fan, but yeah. And I'm not sure about Kelsey. I feel like Kelsey would probably be going
Harry Potter. Yeah.
Would she?
I just feel like she would.
Would she? Would I? Have I changed my decision?
Change it, Simon.
No, I feel I feel talking for the other people that aren't here. I still feel like
casting their votes for them.
Yeah.
It does feel a little unbalanced that I think now more than half of the films in the bunker are Harry Potter films.
True. But, we'll add.
It's good. Now Judi Dench has a lot of stuff to watch.
Yeah,
with John Hamm.
And Maggie Smith's in those
films. They are probably best friends by now.
Yeah.
Is Maggie Smith a dame yet?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Dame Maggie Smith. So, Judi Dench can watch it and reminisce about Maggie and be like,
Mm.
oh, my friend.
Tell John Hamm all about it.
Yeah. Maybe we should put Maggie in the bunker. I feel bad now.
She's in the bunker. I'm not. She's smuggled in.
Judy would just smuggle her in as
Her
well.
and Helen. Did Helen Mirren get in?
No, because it was her against Helen Mirren.
Oh, that's right.
That's
If you
right.
remember. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we'll wrap it up there for today.
So I'm about to go on a Helen Mirren thing and get everyone in trouble.
So thanks for listening, and remember to like and subscribe and all those things, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
I'm coming, Zach.